today I'll be doing a role play as a teacher referring a student to a social worker. We'll be using the ideal problem-solving approach. I will be playing the teacher, and my sister, who is an MSW candidate, will be playing the social worker. I identify the problem. How are you? Good. I'm just coming to you today because I have a student in one of my classes that has just been really falling behind and showing very inconsistent results throughout the assessments I've been giving him.
How long has this been happening for?
Probably since the beginning of the year. I gave a test in the beginning of the year to see prior knowledge, and he already just showed bad inconsistent results now, and I thought it would get better, but it just has not been improving.
Okay, and have you tried to help him before this?
I've tried to meet with him after class, but I think it's really hard for him to take away time. I think he has a lot of commitments at home because his parents are immigrants, so.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a bigger problem, like a safety problem, or a bigger thing going on, or you think it's just small and something immediate?
I don't think so much as safety at home. I mean, I've met with the parents before, and it seems like a good relationship, but there definitely is a language barrier and a cultural barrier.
Okay, so if we need to talk to them, I can get in a translator.
Yes.
Perfect.
I just think it could be anywhere, it could be a wide range of issues, so that's why I'm coming here to talk to you.
All right, so I think we should talk it out.
Yes.
Make a plan, bounce ideas back and forth, and hopefully we can figure out what's best for your student.
Great. D, define goals.
What would you like the outcomes of this referral to be?
I just want the betterment of my student. I want him to succeed, even if it's the smallest amount. I just want him to know that he can do it and to get the proper help. But I also want to keep a positive teacher-student relationship, and I really want him to know I'm doing this to help him, not to hurt him.
I think that's really great because from what I could tell, you sound like an advocate and you just want what's best for him.
Yes, exactly. Okay. E, explore strategies.
All right, so from what you've told me about your student, there's 4 different possibilities of what could be happening. One of them could be a negative transfer. A second one could be a learning disability, which then would involve IEPs and family meetings. Third, family and home life. And 4, there could simply just be a lack of motivation.
A, anticipate outcomes.
All right, so I think we should be starting with negative transfer. And is there anything that you've noticed when working with Kyle?
Yeah, like I said before, I gave a diagnostic assessment at the beginning of the year, and his past knowledge was definitely a little bit farther behind and not as well rounded as the other students, but I thought he would catch up, but obviously that didn't happen. So I was wondering if there was anything else that you think I could do to help him.
If Kyle's able to meet for extra help after class, that would really be amazing. You could reteach topics that he's confused about, but you can also encourage the implementation of meaningful learning and metacognitive skills.
Kyle is really hard to meet with after school because I've tried to get him to go to extra help. I was just wondering, do you think it would be a bad idea to implement scaffolding throughout the whole class, but of course he would be involved in it, and pair him with a student or a couple other students in a group that are a little bit more higher achieving so they could motivate each other to do better and he could learn and see their skills and learn from them?
I think that could really work. I really like that you brought up the scaffolding, but I also think we should explore other options, especially since there is a possibility that Kyle might have a learning disability. Have you ever worked with students like Kyle before?
Yes, I've referred a student for a learning disability before, and I know the steps it takes to get parental permission for an evaluation.
All right, I would recommend doing more formative assessments, but since we are having this referral and I feel like I'm starting to get to know Kyle, if an IEP is needed, I think it would be smart for me to be involved as well as psychologists and his other teachers.
Of course, you would be a part of the IEP process, and of course his parents would also have to be there. And speaking of his parents, it'd be a great time to move on to his home life, which has definitely been very difficult for me to read and get a clear understanding of. I have met with his parents before during parent-teacher conferences, and they seem like they have a very authoritarian parenting style, which can be very inflexible and cause a lot of strain on students. They also are immigrants from Korea, so it's been really hard trying to communicate with them because there is a very large language barrier. So I was wondering if there was anything that you could help me with there.
So I can, of course, get you in touch with the translator, and the translator will be here throughout the whole process. But also when it comes to assignments, I think it would be a really good idea if Kyle had a friend in your class where Kyle's friends' parents could definitely reach out to Kyle's parents and help them with assignments when needed with translations, of course, as long as Kyle's friend's family is okay with that.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful because I know how important it is to keep parent-teacher communication, especially when giving students assignments. Parents should also know what they are and know the expectations, so everyone knows the rules.
From how you've described Kyle's parents and his family, it sounds like they're really busy working and trying to give Kyle the best life he can have, especially now that they moved from Korea to the United States. And oftentimes, immigrant families can be of a lower socioeconomic status, and with that comes just a less of a chance of graduating on time, just harder time accelerating in school and keeping up. So motivation can be something a student really struggles with. Have you noticed Kyle's motivation waver a bit?
Yes, I did notice a lack of motivation very early on, and I did try to implement a lot of extrinsic motivations throughout class because it's easier for a bigger class for me, and I had a bunch of incentives for him to participate more and have good behavior in class. And while it did improve his behavior, he wasn't showing any more knowledge of the class material, which was the goal. Are there any strategies to intrinsically motivate him you have?
I think what's really important when it comes to intrinsic motivation is building that trust and getting to know your student. So in Kyle's case, it seems like you do already care about him, and I think it's safe to assume that he knows that as well. But you can just sit down with him, find out his hobbies, what he likes to do at home, what he likes to do at school, who he likes to hang out with, just anything that will show him that you care about learning about him and his life, and hopefully that will motivate him to do just better in your class.
L, look back and learn. Thank you so much for your help. This was so helpful.
Of course, and if you just need any more help with Kyle or any other students, if you also need help just getting in contact with the parents, or when you're ready for the translator, just let me know.
Yes, I'll definitely be meeting with you again soon.
Great.
Peace.
Bye.